It's a part of the uniform. It's a part of the uniform. Mm. All right. No. Hey, what's up, Santiago? Mm. Hey, what's up, Cave Trader? How's everybody doing tonight? August 29th, September 1st. Oof. Oh, no, no, no. Mm. How did the day turn from being a bullish trend to a bearish range? The day started off as a bullish continuation from yesterday's session. Then it turned into a bearish range. And the Nasdaq missed my last and final target by about uh, like 7 points, 8 points. It missed my final target by 8 points, and then it goes back and stops me out. Crazy. Mm. I don't know, man. Damn, Kaver. Sorry to hear that. Shit, you're singing everybody's tune right now, Cave Trader. A lot of people was waiting for September and fall to come, but honestly, the market is definitely low volume, but we've seen in the past that the market can move off of any volume. All it has to do is generate the liquidity and leave no bull or bear left behind, and the market will trade in this intended direction. In my opinion, I feel like all this chop is not due to volume but to uncertainty. A lot of people was bearish today, but the charts definitely told the story that being bearish today was not on the agenda. And so I fully understand what you mean by that, Cave Trader. I think that's what happened to a lot of people. It's just the uncertainty. A lot of people saw this bearishness and price traded into a previous area of resistance, and you can see because when I came back to the charts, I looked at the charts and said, "Damn, look at these silly bears. Look at these silly bears." Look how many times they tried to short the trend line here. They tried to short the trend line 3 separate times. They break it, they pull back and try to short, then get stopped out. They break it, pull back, trying to short, get stopped out. This one, they didn't even try to hold the pullback the third time. They just got stopped out and accepted it. But it was the Nvidia earnings that finally did it. But I mean, let's just be completely honest here. Nvidia earnings, this drop didn't happen because of Nvidia earnings. This drop happened because price traded into a previous area of resistance. And this was an error. Well, actually, it missed my my initial entry by. So I was looking for the market to trade to 695, 715 ish. That's where I was actually looking for the market to trade because I mean, if you look back in the past here, if you look back in the past, you can see that the market broke structure right here at around 718. And you got that break of structure down here, right there. So I figured that the market was going to trade further into this previous area. But I guess the market said, nah, we're good at 680. And the Nasdaq has been front running like that a lot. The Nasdaq used to front run the 100 level, and it would front run it to like the 90, 95-ish before we got the rejection, before it touched the 100. Like that first test of the 100 psychological level usually was a trap. And the first time was a trap. The second time it would trade through it. Like as an example, if this was the 100 mark and the market was trending to get to that 100 mark, it would stop short at 95. It will reverse. And then on its way back up, it would actually overshoot that 100 and it would be like the 20 level, 30 level. And then it would come back down. And then the bulls would have to hold that. And then we would see higher prices. That's usually the Nasdaq's pattern. But I think the Nasdaq has gotten privy to the fact that a lot of people are saying that, well, if she's going to front run that 100 level, let's actually take profits at that 90 level. And this is probably the third occasion that I've seen where the Nasdaq actually front runs that 90 level and reverses at the 80 level. And you know that is done systematically because the previous level was 95 and now it's 85. So this is done purposely. That was done purposely to front run the front runners. At least that's my opinion based on historical data with the NASDAQ. Yeah, what's up, Game Weight? What's up, man? It went to a 50, didn't it, Santiago? It went to a 50, huh? I was actually looking for this area on. I was actually looking for a range between 455 and 435, and looks like it tapped into that range and then it shot right back up. I was able to capitalize on this move back up. I took a trade towards the end of the session when I came and looked back at my screen at towards the end of the day. So you're long from 528. Hmm. Hmm. Well, Investor Z, I'll say this. We all know that the NASDAQ picks and chooses when she wants to follow price action, but one thing is very clear. We got lower lows and lower highs. We got price above the short and medium term EMAs, but then we still got the long term EMA well above price. So maybe not a rejection, maybe not a reversal, but maybe a potential rejection. And we still have this orb low right, or the orb high right here. So I'm pretty sure you're managing your risk, but we could potentially see a move back up to this trend line. This trend line is still in play. The bears finally got the break below that trend line that they tried 3 times in the session to get. They finally got that break. And so the question is, will the bears hold that retest of the bottom of that trend line? We got to give the bears the benefit of the doubt, I guess. You said thank you, John Hunter. Stop. Where are you targeting gain weight? I'm honest. Well, I'm not surprised, but I figured that the market would go a little bit higher than it did today. I thought I was kind of front running the area that the market really wanted to go. But let's look at the ES. Even though she's on my do not trade list, I know that there's traders here that. So Santiago was in this at. Oh, Santiago, when did you get into this? Oh shit! Did you get stopped out of this? I would have. Did you get stopped out of this, Santiago? Or did you take profits at these highs? So Santiago was in at 86.25. Damn, it didn't even go 10 points. Yo, fuck the ES, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm angry for you, Santiago. If it stopped you out and then did this mess right here. But we did talk about a possibility of the market coming back to that orb low or that orb high though. Anybody that bought the retest of the orb high, 83. So that's 10 points. So I mean the market, I mean it wasn't easy. One straight shot. About like a 20-point move. That's not bad. That's about a 20-pointer. Hmm. Yes, huh? Hmm. Hmm. The ES pulled back into a previous area. And man, I know I was talking shit about the ES, but god dang. ES literally pulled back Mm, shit. Uh, mm, mm. I won't front run your target. Can't wait. I won't do that. And yes, Investor Z, she did something like that. Unfortunately, I felt some of her teeth, and I didn't appreciate that. The last 2 days, I felt some teeth, and I didn't appreciate that at all. I had two winning trades the last 2 days to losers, turn to losers because of this stupid price action. And then the day when I says, fine, I'm not going to trade her stupid ass no more. She gets a perfect break and retest trade on the orb, a perfect break, retest trade, straight up. And then she pulls back into a previous area right here. Pulls back right there for a perfect entry at the end of the day. Oh, man. Perfect entry at the end of the day, too, man. But you got to wait for this. You got to be patient for this. But I don't know, man. We had a great trade. Or, my bad, Investors Z. I'm looking at the 1800 tick chart. But I don't have to deal with that with the ES. I guess what I'm going to start doing when it comes to the ES is I'll set limits and just let it be what it is. Because if we traded the ES this morning, we wouldn't have gotten a good entry until about 11:30. I mean, the ES didn't present a trade until 11:30. And then the big trade didn't present itself until 30 minutes, 21 minutes after the close. As a trader, that is for a trader that we're well, how do I want to say this? Because we're only restricted to intraday trading, moves like this at the end of the day or on the ES, it's not going to get us to where we need to go. It looks like the ES and Nasdaq pull back around the same time, but unlike the ES, the Nasdaq closed back within the range and the ES did not. The ES had a like a perfect bounce off of the orb high. The Nasdaq made it look like she was going to sell back down. I mean, and that's the give and take that you give with the Nasdaq and the ES. It's, do you want to make money quick and fast, but then have to tolerate drawdown, or do you want the slow speed, safety, and security. And the certainty that she'll stop at structure. Because I mean, she stopped. She didn't go any further than this range. And they collected the liquidity that was in this range. It was a perfect break and a retest back into this range. And the market is trading higher currently on the ES. And that's what I appreciate about the ES. I don't appreciate getting stopped out of winning trades though, because it needs to pull back and refuel before it makes its move higher. The Nasdaq doesn't have that problem, obviously, but the Nasdaq gets loose at times. So loose where she'll stop you out of a great trade and then turn around and says, okay, well, I've collected all the stops. Let's now go in the intended direction. And we all know that that's the Nasdaq's pleasure. I thought we took this trade this morning and I thought that I thought that she was going to probably go a little bit lower, but I knew, or I had a good idea that we was going to get a bounce here. Because just like the ES, it's choppy. And I can see it on my higher time frame, but there's a range right there. The market was using this area as a range to put, and it pulled back into this area. This candle right here, or at least this move right here off of the 50 EMA rejection, this rejection right here, it made me almost change my mind about my original thesis because of how violent that rejection was. But then I said to myself, I was like, no way. No. The market is going to go up. This is just the Queen of Hearts just being herself, manipulating people to stay short. I mean, in a situation like this, why wouldn't you stay short? You got price making lower lows, lower highs. You have a support trend line coming up. The market breaks from it. It pulls back, and then you get that super push down. And everybody that was here this morning or traded this morning know exactly how that candle felt. It probably gave you confidence to stay short, but I just knew that being short was not the answer here. Or I just had a good idea because it pulled back into a range. I'm always skeptical when the market breaks out and it pulls back into the origin of the breakout and we don't see a follow-up leg. I'm always skeptical of that because you got to think there was enough buyers here in this area to not only push price higher and move away from this range, it broke structure to the upside. And you got to remember that above these highs, these are sellers looking to protect their investment. And there was more buyers than sellers in this area, and those sellers got absorbed. And so what that does is once you see a move like this, as Nasdaq traders, we instinctually chase and jump into the move. But think about the people that didn't jump into it. Think about the people that are not trading props, prop accounts, and they got to wait for a pullback. You think that they're not going to try to buy the dip here? It's human nature. You miss that train, either you FOMO into it or you wait for a pullback. And that's why I'm always skeptical. I don't care how bearish or bullish a move is. If price is coming back to an origin of a break of structure, I'm going to trade against it. The question is, will I survive it? That's the question. Is my entry good enough to where I'm in a comfortable location? My stop is way back. And can I survive the storm? In this situation, I was able to. The first entry that I had, that crapped on me, but I will admit that that was more of a FOMO entry because I figured I was like, well, it's not in the area I was looking for, but price is pulling back. It did look like it wanted to shoot up higher. So I did FOMO into this one. But that's definitely, I don't really feel FOMO on ES. I just get frustrated when she starts to having bad price action. And I don't have to tolerate that. I don't have to tolerate it. And I won't. Shit, you know them off stream accounts are powerful. Every finfluencer, I heard that term today and I like it, so I'm gonna start to use it. Finfluencer has an off stream account that manipulates the market. You know how they always get their money back off stream, even though they blow up, they're down tens of thousands of dollars on stream. Even though we're all trading the same price action, they managed to get all their money back. I'm starting to see a trend though. I'm starting to see like when it gets to that 200 mark on a regular day, that's when the market comes back down, and then it bounces at that 23%. Yeah, that's all it is. Just a break and retest. Mm. Yeah, I kind of figured as much. I don't think we'll I mean, we'll see. If you don't have the 200 EMA on your chart, I would highly recommend that you do so. It's a very important EMA for sure. The market, I mean, if, well, I would say that if I only can choose one, it would be the 21 EMA, but uh, I feel that the 21 EMA does, it's the first line of defense. It's really that 50 and 200 EMA that backs it up. It's like the 21 EMA is the leader, and the 50 and the 200 EMA are its partners that it relies heavily on. Because if we all know that price will trend or reject off of that 21 EMA. And if price pushes past that 21 EMA, you know that if you don't see that reaction at the 50 and the 200, then that means that price is more likely going to continue to move further in that direction. But it's rare to see price trade through all the EMAs at once. Like it's rare to see the 21, the 50 get traded through, and then the 20, the 200 EMA is sloping down, and that gets traded through. That's rare. The only time we'll probably see that is obviously during extreme volatility. But we are getting that rejection off of the 200 EMA right here. So I don't think it's a reversal, maybe like a slight rejection. We did make a higher low here. Mm. And, yo, I mean, that's nothing to laugh at, man. 30 points on one contract. That's actually pretty good. Shit, my original target for the Nasdaq. Oh crap. My original target on the Nasdaq used to be 36 points on one full mini contract. And I believe 36 points is $720. And I would shoot for that every day. Just 36 points. 144 ticks, I believe. It's actually let me check. I think it's 144 ticks. Yeah, it's 144 ticks. And that's $720. That's all I needed to stay consistent. I've forgotten which account I did that with. I think it was Blue Sky because I think you needed $720 for 5 or 7 days or some shit like that to graduate to a live account, because Blue Sky is very similar to Top Step's old model where you had a profit target of in phase 1, you have another profit target in phase 2, but at least when I was trading with them, this may have changed, but when I was trading with them, that second phase was quote unquote you building up your live account. So they originally had 54 or 6,000 or some shit that you had to make, and then they dropped it down to 3,000 or 36. So you had to make that profit target, and then they gave you that money to trade in the live market with Tradeovate. So, oof. Hey, yo, welcome back, Santiago. But if we see, but we got to remember that we have GDP tomorrow. We have GDP tomorrow. It's going to give us a glimpse into the future. Tomorrow, we may see a really big move tomorrow, or we could see that big move on Friday. I'm expecting a really big move either tomorrow or Friday. One, because we have GDP, job numbers, job data dropping, pending home sales, the Kansas Fed manufacturing. We have all this inflationary data, job data, whatever. And then on Friday, we have PCE. Now, PCE is a part of GDP. So GDP is going to give us a glimpse of what PCE is going to be. So honestly, I really don't know why they have this as two separate data drops when PCE is a part of GDP. But once we get a good idea of, or once the market officially gets a good idea, because let's be honest, I don't think nobody is playing this game for real. They know what this data is before the public is. I would find it hard to believe that someone with trillions of dollars under assets would not have this information available to them. So I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good idea of what the numbers are going to be. So we could see the big boys and girls, or let me just use this term solely, the big money. The big money is going to put themselves in the market. And I think this is actually a great example of the big money having to sit on their hands and waiting for data to drop before they actually begin to participate, because the market grinded up higher for the entire session because of the uncertainty of the Nvidia earnings. And once that data was released, look how big this move is. It's like a release. It was the big money trying to put their money to work as fast as possible. This happened in the last 30 minutes of the market being open. So I don't expect a big move overnight. I do expect a big move once we get that data to drop. And I do expect for there to be an uptick in volatility due to all the news, and tomorrow and Friday being the last 2 days of the month. And on top of it being the last 2 days of the month, the first day of September is Labor Day. So there's a lot of reasons for big money to get their money into the market to begin to start working for them and to get their money back off of the table and let everybody else begin their bag holding season. Because when it comes to the big money, it's not a bull or bear season. It's who's holding the bag season. And it's not going to be them. It's not going to be them. I don't know where this range is from. I don't remember. But it's obvious that this range is important because the market has come back and reacted to this range multiple times. So I'll keep this on my chart until the end of the week because it's obvious that this range is important. I just forgot where it came from. Investor Z says he thinks that the Bulls getting that dump candle back. You know, I would agree. I agree. I don't think we take out that full candle, but I think we can at least get to the trend line. At least. At least the trend line. The way this thing is sloped, if the Bulls aren't going to break above and begin to hold because it's too sloped to have regular price action. So what I believe is going to happen is that we do see a move to the trend line. We could see several attempts to kind of hold right here, but then we could probably see a move back down and then the market begin to chop so it can move away from this trend line. And once we get far enough away from the trend line, then we'll probably see the rotation again. Because with this trend line in the way, either the market is going to break back above and dance on top of this trend line, which is, I mean, the Nasdaq did it. She's done it before, but the market was extremely bullish, where she jumped on top of a sloped trend line and used it to continue to trade higher. But I think that was probably one of those outliers that tends to happen in the market when it becomes irrational. I didn't take no trades on my baby gold at all. I think the ES wants to potentially rotate back down to this trend line down here. It looks like a great area. It looks like a great excuse to come back to the trend line. The structure kind of looks that way too. Let's actually look at that. I think what all-time highs currently on the ES is 509. We didn't take out all-time highs. A price rejected at 507. So if 509 is the current all-time highs on the ES, the question is the market ready to make all new all-time highs? Is the market ready to make all new all-time highs? That's the question. Because if we can get price to go over 509 and pull back and use this area as support, we can definitely begin to see a continuation in this bullish move. Same thing with the Nasdaq. But the Nasdaq's all-time highs is all the way up here at 2469. So Nasdaq has a ways to go, but it's hard to miss. It's really hard to miss this break of structure here at 718. It's hard to miss that because I mean we got that little trend right there, and then we got the break of structure down. It was obvious that the bulls were trying to buy this thing and buy this thing and buy this thing as it was going down, and then they finally let it go. They couldn't buy the dip anymore, and we saw this big move down from this area. We saw price come back into this area, but I feel that if price fails at this level, we could see a rejection back down. But it's hard to talk about a rejection when we're talking about the Nasdaq and we're talking about the current state of the market. We're seeing more bearishness, obviously, because this was a really big bear move. I mean, from the highs 24, price came, so we traded more than 1,000 points to the downside. It took the market 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to trade 1,000 points to the downside. And the whole time, as it was dropping 1,000 points to the downside, the market felt super bullish. A 30% drop. Honestly, if we can just have a decent, I mean, instead of all the trend days that we're getting, it'll be nice that if we can just get a decent range day. It'll be, I think a range day will be welcome. We haven't had a range day in a while. Trend days used to be so rare. Trend days used to be rare. Now we're getting trend days every day. It seems like there's not a day that goes by where the market does not trend, especially on the Nasdaq. We're not getting the Trump level moves from earlier this year where the market was trading 1,000 points in a day, 300 points in a day. The Nasdaq has calmed down a lot since because we're still making 200-point days. Like today, the market started off. Actually, let me just share this one. Yeah, today the market started off with a. Actually, I gotta color code this correctly. Actually, let me do that. Been slacking on this sheet. Yeah, I mean, at least for today, but a 141-point move to the downside to start off the session. We had a 197-point move to the upside, a 256-point rejection, and a 152-point bounce. And this happened all in the last 5 minutes, 30 minutes of the market. This pop and drop right here. Well, I mean, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, price rotating back and forth within a defined range, that's welcomed. At least you get an opportunity for a pullback. Yeah, you get an opportunity to actually trade it. Like I mean, this right here, like a range like this. This is a decent range. You have price breaking out, pulling back, breaking out, pulling back. This right here would be welcome price action. If we can just get the market to move and trade like this in a defined range all day. So the bulls and the bears can make their money. We get these runaway markets. The market is always running away from something. If it's running away from Powell, is running away from Trump, is running away from tariffs concerns, it's running away from Doge. Just it seems like the market has just been running away from something. Just a little bit of uncertainty in the market just starts to trend in one direction, and then they get the clarity and certainty that they need, and then it trends in another direction. I mean, this price action can definitely be exhausting. You have maybe one, two of your lucky opportunities to get into a good, decent position where you can be comfortable. But if you miss that, you have to be very aggressive with your, excuse me, you have to be very aggressive with your follow up entries. The market likes to move when I mean, shit, we're here until about 10:30, give or take, every night, or Monday, Thursday, Monday through Thursday. And then the market chooses to not move until about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Who's up at that time? Only some of us. Only some of us is up at that time. And that's when the market wants to set up, and that's when all the good positions happen. Or it happens at the start of the session when a lot of traders are trying to be disciplined and not hop in as soon as the market opens at 5 p.m. Central Time. But then the market kind of forces you to be in your charts at this time because maybe you might miss something. So I will definitely agree with those that say that the market has been challenging to trade lately. Mm, mm. 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 I might actually have to do this. I don't want to though. Mm. Damn. All right, man. Mm. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Man, I'm trying to do the math here, man. I'm trying to do the math here. Well, I'm not trying to do the math. I'm trying to convince myself because I've already shared that I'm having a midlife trader's crisis right now. I don't know what I want to trade and I don't know how I want to trade it. I'm sticking with the Nasdaq. The ES, I've chosen to stick with the Nasdaq. So I mean that's one step forward. It's probably I probably should have never left the Nasdaq because obviously I really enjoy trading the Nasdaq. There's a lot of opportunities to make money with the Nasdaq, but then there's also the reality that she will snatch your account away and you have to start over. And that's what I was trying to avoid. But what I will say is that even though it's taking me longer than what I'm used to, I think I'm in day 20 in this account and I've grown it to $14,000 just taking small trades. I've grown it to $14,000 just trading it day by day. And you guys see that I have 3 profit targets that I take. But the crazy thing is that if I spread my targets out, and this is where the uncertainty comes from. If I just take all of my profits off at one target, I make more money than if I were to spread them out. Because all I need is $450 to achieve my goal. If I can make $450 daily, I can achieve my goal. The easiest way to make $450 daily on the Nasdaq is to get 56 points, which is the most easiest thing in the world to do on the Nasdaq. She sneezes and she's up 20, 50, 100 points. This leg right here, I mean, if you look at it, the high of this was 658. The low of this was 552. This is a more than a 100-point move. I would get my $450 profit goal in this one leg, in this leg, in this leg. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to capture 56 points. But then if I were to settle with 56 points a day, then I'll be leaving the rest of this on the table. And I want it. I want the rest of this stuff. I want it. That's why I have a runner, so I can capture these big moves so my ego can feel vindicated. But that's all it would be an ego trade, because if I allow my position to have 3 targets where I take the bulk of the profits off at one target, I have a slightly higher target and a runner. I did the math and I would only make $530. $530 doing all that work. Only making $80 more, capturing more points because I have a target at 50. So my position that I trade with now, the first target is at 45 points. And I just moved the second and third target to where I think the market is going to eventually get to. But I can make more money by just having the full position come off at 56 points, reaching my goal. And my ego does not like that. The inner Sherm Council does not like that. It doesn't like it. It just doesn't like it. It was already an internal battle to get me to size down. Now you just want me to take one profit target? You want me to take it all at one? It makes sense. And this just shows me just observing how I feel versus what I know to be the right thing to do to achieve my goal is in conflict with each other. And my emotional self does not want to accept it, even though I've shown the evidence that taking it off at one target would be more beneficial than having multiple targets spread out. I don't want to finish at 56 points. I don't want to. I don't want it to. I don't want it. Okay, trader, try not to jump back into this, man. Try not to jump back into this, man. Or not K trader, my bad. Investor Z. Because I know you got out at that 200-point rejection, and then this thing is still going. Are you back in already? Yeah, I kind of figured. But gain weight, I'm surprised that you would say that. I'm surprised. I figured that you would. Well, no, actually, never mind. I take that back. I take that back. Us intraday traders should appreciate range days. An easy way to make your money in and out of the market. We're not talking about chop like this. We're not talking about this. We're talking about this. Big rotations back and forth, up, down, price consolidating in a defined range, rotating back and forth where everybody can make their money. Why would you not want to trade days like that? Instead of having to always chase breakouts. I guess we are, we're different people. I prefer a range day. I prefer price to trade it within a defined range. I don't care too much for the trending. The only thing I care about is getting my target hit. Everything else is just extra. Or escrow. It's just extra. But I think we're gonna go to the range. I think we're gonna go to the trend line. I think we at least test R3. If we don't see a rejection at R2, R3 for sure. Hmm. Thank you, Investor Z, because apparently Gameway says that intraday traders don't prefer range days. We're not talking about a tight range, though. We're talking about a defined range where price is rotating 100 points back and forth. Now, if you're a long-term investor, obviously, range days are. I would hate to see me get into a position looking to get a 500-point play just for price to come back to my break even. If I was a longer-term trader, of course, range days would be annoying, of course. But I'm not a long-term trader, long-term investor. Since prop firms don't allow us to swing positions overnight, we got to trade intraday, and range days are the best day for intraday traders. Hey, what's up, Cholo Trades? We'll see. The Nasdaq has to break back above this trend line right here. So we'll see if it does it overnight. We got news tomorrow morning, so I don't think the market is going to do anything too parabolic. Maybe it does. I don't know. But until that data drops, the market definitely has some obstacles that it has to overcome. First, you got this range right here. You got this range that's been acting as support and resistance. You got this trend line that the market has to get back above. I expect the bears to come back in at a retest. They're going to try. They're going to try to come back in at a retest of that trend line. They're going to try. We don't know if they're going to be successful, but they'll definitely try. And if the bears fail to hold, then it's up to the bulls to hold it. So if they fail right here, then the bulls are going to have to push higher, because if they fail back above, or I'm sorry, back below that trend line, then I would expect for the market to begin to trade down. That's what I would expect. It's been working so far, gain weight. It's been working so far. But I appreciate your kind words, gain weight. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep my, honestly, gain weight. I did think about, or I think about, I have considered what you said earlier, and you're right. I should just only focus on one instrument, but I'm gonna focus on Nasdaq and gold. And that's the only thing that I'm gonna focus on moving forward. Maybe I have spread myself thin trading three instruments, even though it doesn't feel that way. Even though it doesn't feel that way, maybe why sometimes I hesitate on certain trades is because I'm thinking about trade how I should trade the Nasdaq, how I should trade the ES, and how I should trade gold. So those are three different instruments with three different mindsets to be successful with them. So I wanted to go trade the ES because the ES orb, for whatever reason, was just clean. Now it's not so clean, but it's not clean. And honestly, I don't want to deal with the iffy price action. Mm. Okay. Hey, what's up? Just ain't right. What's up? No, I haven't signed up for it. So my funded futures is having a raffle. Uh, 20,000 core accounts for just. Mm, well, I just entered. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, solo trades. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I just signed up. Honestly, I'll accept it if chosen. I will happily pay $1 for an account. Happily. Sounds like one of those good problems to have. But when it comes to taxes, the government. I mean, shit. Uninformed poor people sit here and say that rich people don't get taxed, but the hell they don't. They're the backbone of this damn of this economy. Because shit, if everybody's poor, who else are they going to get? Is the government going to get their money from? Think about that. Oh, you want to be successful, huh? You want to make more than the average person per year, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need our cut. I know you did all the work, but we're gonna need our cut because we facilitated your ability to make that money. So we're gonna need our cut. I mean, technically, I mean, this was a good breakout. I think I really don't need to write. That was a good breakout because the market broke out of the, well, uh, the one thing that the one thing that I'm not, so when I allow myself to be consistently profitable, and I'm talking about over a long term, not short term profitability, but long term profitability, where I have the same account for over a year instead of buying and purchasing multiple accounts, getting maybe 1 to 3 payouts from them and then blowing them and having to start over again. When I allow myself to be consistently profitable in one account, just like what Gameway brought up with the taxes, 915. When I was doing my taxes last year, I made an error. I didn't even catch it until I really looked at it. I put an extra zero on how much money that I made that year. And if I didn't catch the error, and it would have gotten caught eventually, but I would have owed 3 million with a M, 3 M's to the government in taxes, 3 M's because I put an extra zero. 19. I got to start doing the screenshots again. I don't know when I stopped doing it actually. I got to start getting back into the habit of doing the screenshots again. I got to get back into the habit of recording my trades again too. So I can kind of go back and look at my trades. Okay. So at 9:15, the MNQ closed above the opening range high and traded 66 points to the upside into a previous area of resistance before pulling back and closing within the opening range. At 11:40, the MNQ closed above the opening range high and traded 92 points to the upside into a previous area of resistance. Price then pulled back, retesting the opening range, then traded 120 points to the upside before closing below the opening range. Or trading and closing, trading before trading through and closing below the opening range low. Or actually, what I probably should do is, if I'm not going to annotate the time, what time did that happen at? 2:13. So between 11:40 and 2:13. Okay. That makes it as accurate as possible, or as accurate as I'm going to make it. Okay. We doing all this work for the NQ? I don't even think I did the. I thought I did it for yesterday. I thought I did. All right. So the initial sweep happened at 9:15. Initial break 9:15. Successful break of structure 9:15. 9:15 high. Broke high, then low. Initial reaction, it was a clean break of structure. Result, 120. Or the first move was 66. And the full move was 120. All right. Grabbed a lot of data out of that. And we're definitely seeing a pattern. If we have over 100,000 contracts being added in the first 15 minutes, again, we get big moves. So that it just goes to show that we just had another big move today after over 100,000 contracts being added in the first 15 minutes. So, okay. Yeah. So far solo trades, it's been working. The times where I've traded against the orb won. The times where I traded with the orb, we won. There may have been, actually, now that I think about it, if I lose an orb trade, it's because it may have missed my target. But if I was more aggressive with taking profits, then a lot of these orb trades would actually be profitable. But like I said, you don't ever have to take my word for it. You can always go back, look at the orb, and see. I mean, there is times where the orb it gets really nasty. I mean, the orb can get nasty. It can get really nasty, but what Alfred's been doing is he's been also using the orb low. So, like an example like this, if we see a break of the orb low and we see price come back in, he's been actually getting in at that orb low and trading to the orb high, or at least 50% of the orb. So, the orb strategy works. It really depends on if we're going to see big moves like this, or are we going to get these smaller breakouts where it does break out from the range, but then it comes back into it. So sometimes we really get really good moves, and sometimes we don't. But if we're going to play the long game, over time is going to work. Over time. So I mean, you do have like I said, you do have these types of days where It is crazy, but and then you have days like this. So, but all right, guys, that's it for me tonight. We'll definitely come back tomorrow morning, and we'll definitely look for more opportunities to earn some more money. And with that said, peace out, everybody. Have a good night.